I've come to understand that by default, I've seen people, and I've personally categorized them in the blue pill category when they've just gone through all of the obvious steps in life.
Yeah.
And for the cases, it works out for certain people, and it's great for them.
Yeah.
I don't want to downplay somebody having a traditional lifestyle. That being said, I've seen huge amounts of people not being fulfilled by their life at all.
Yeah. So,
and I think that's the result from it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really whatever path you choose in life. I mean, I think isn't necessarily that important. I think you can do what someone else might think is like a boring lifestyle, but like if that's like what you need to grow for who you are, and that's what you've chosen. And I feel like that's completely that's exactly what you should be doing. You shouldn't be out starting your own company and like taking over the world, and
there's steps to it.
Really, I really think each person is here for a specific purpose, and and if you're fulfilling that, I think more power to you. I think, and for the most part, I feel like the vast majority of us are here for very specific, not we're not all here to be rock stars, and a lot of the people who end up being rock stars are like super unfulfilled and end up killing themselves or something.
Yeah. The way I look at it is, if you have gone and done everything right, quote unquote, and you still don't find the fulfillment, you're in the matrix. You bought into a ton of things that are not serving you.
Yeah, I mean
that's what I mean.
Well, yeah, probably the case. Yeah.
And so whether if it's the long-term job you've been working that you've always hated and low-key just want to get out, the relationship that's absolutely draining you, the environment that you live in that's not at all portraying you to push yourself.
Yeah,
call it what you want.
And so, I mean, to me, like the idea of the matrix is essentially it's you following a path in life or making decisions based on what you think society or your parents or someone else has told you or made you believe that's what you should do.
That's the way you should.
Whether or not it's what you feel is in your heart. And usually it's like against what you feel, in your heart. It's like it's usually taking the safe route, and leads to unfulfillment and leads to people, settling for someone who they're not really in love with, and like basically it leads to a mediocre lifestyle where someone's unfulfilled, and with the idea is that they don't really have that much spiritual growth in that lifetime. And so instead of, incarnating on earth, 3 or 4 times and learning these lessons and then, graduating and moving on, you get stuck in the same routine where up until, recently it was you're born, you go to school, you go to, college or not, but you get a job and then you work that job, for 40 years or whatever, either for a company or like on a farm or something. You have a family, you kind of teach them to do the same thing, and then you die. It's like right. You might, last few hundred years, like you retire, right? Not even a few hundred, last like 100. You retire, and then people aren't really haven't been encouraged to figure out what they're here to do, and up until recently, it hasn't really been an option for most people. Because of this, I think the overall system has been in place so elaborately for so long that it's like you haven't been, the average person hasn't been free to, express themselves and to figure out their purpose. They were, just struggling to survive because of these big power systems in place, to keep like the king or whatever, government, in power, and then the average person really doesn't have shit and just has to work just to survive.
I think that that's some point to it. Ultimately, I think the ultimate reason why the vast majority of people if they have been stuck in the matrix and are going to continue being stuck in the matrix, is if you cannot understand when you're being stimulated purely by the world's intentions or by your own intentions. And so if you literally cannot decide things for yourself and just go with it and make that promise to yourself and do it, make that plan and go with it, set a goal and achieve it. If you're not on that level, reality will swallow you and you won't even know where you should be. Because there's so many things nowadays pulling your attention. Yeah. And it's all within the matrix that's lower vibration stuff.
But, you know, even like from the beginning, it's all like it literally is part of the system, like the schooling system. You know, you're trained to be an employee. You know, it's like you're trained to not think for yourself. You're trained to, you know, everyone's doing the same, supposed to do the same shit. You know why
they put the rows the way they did for classrooms is because they were, at first when school was put together on that sense, it was to get people ready to be line workers at factories.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And so you're just always in lines when you're in school. And the reason is because they're really prepping you to continue to be in lines later on in life.
Yeah.
And so just a little quick fact there. But
yeah, it makes sense.
Education. I mean, shoot, we could go into that right now. All right, thanks for watching this clip from Appropriate Culture. If you want to watch the full episode, go ahead and check out us at appropriateculture.com. You can also check us out on social media platforms at Appropriate Culture. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.